I think it was, he 30 gave me or 50K. Yeah, it was 50K. And I was so happy.
See, there's one guy, she can be first 100 kids,
And
110
I
kids.
beg,
She
I used to
puts,
be like I'm going to break you.
no worries, no.
I beg.
If you do 30 this week, next week do 40. About do 50.
And there's some results that you make that you feel. Because if I know that every time I'll get 50, because see, 8% of the engineering as punishment. Not the punishment that I already know all the time. I'm not doing it.
It's not punishment. Initially, it was punishment, all time. The thing is, if you don't have like a goal, like you need to achieve this and this, you go to the gym, you're not doing it. So, only church is like, I go to the gym, go. But sometimes I'm not called. Because you have to, I feel like you should have been able to
Yeah, like
do
what to
this.
do.
You don't need to be calling me. You shouldn't even calling me I don't want to
I
do
know
that.
what to do.
So when I see my stress, maybe you start calling me. So those that didn't call me, didn't call me. I'm like, you know, if you really want this thing, I'm not. So he has to like have that mentality like I want to. So me, I know that I'm going to sit down. I want to start. Never that I'm saying to you. So
Yeah, I just want to keep it. That's what I'm doing.
I want to do it. It's going to be that job is very, it's very, very important. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you are telling me what I want. So we have to do, so I have to try and
Those trading things fancy.
it's what
It's just so fancy.
I
It's trading is meant for those that are in conference space. You don't have the space to jog outside of the thing. So that's just trading. You have the opportunity to trade.
No, I
Now,
need
you
to
can
get
work
to
from your house.
I need to train you and I spend like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
So over time I know that by the time you I'll do 10 minutes. I'll not be building my endurance. So I try to train.
That's the thing. You do your plans for jog to your house. It's not far. It's just like going from church to the space.
It's far, but it's far. Oh no, you are pretty. Before I get to the I want to be able to get more time.
See, the beginning is always fun. You do it like twice. Let's say you're consistent for the end of the month, you're used to it. Now, when you're not able to do that, keep going this way. It's going to show time yourself. You go for it today, tomorrow you take. And then you keep going. If you run for 1 hour, see, I forgot, that's what they call it. What was the name of this? I don't remember now. So let's say this is a field now. The group was 1, 2, 3, 4. We keep it in. This will go between classes 1. This will go between classes 1. This will go between classes 1. That's one. Secondly, as a runner, anytime you get to this, you increase the pace. Pace keeps going and going and going. So
You
over
don't
time,
do the professional.
well, I am, but you know, I think the last year,
When you play football, don't do the other thing that you
that's the one.
It's very
It's
difficult.
not rough.
But
It's,
I already recovered.
yes, it's medication.
I will.
Mm.
This was the
I have an appointment next week.
they will tell you not to listen to things and not to for your
Do you know how many times I've been injured? It's like,
That's the thing with players. They don't like talking to what they
that you don't understand. If you want to complain for fun, so the other people, you know, I was a person, I know that place.
What would
You want to know that place. I know that place called,
people are against?
I don't late, I don't push late. So it's like a family.
What would you know?
So even when I was injured, I said, don't play, I still played. Also, the money, before you do this COVID, So she now comes, she was like, she did that going to the doctor. I said, yes, but not yet. She's not like, okay. And when you go, I want to tell you something. I said, what's that? She's now told me the problem. I said, I can advise you what to do. I don't have to. They said she wants me to do that. She don't want to help her. I said, what can I do? She said, you pay me. I said, you go find something.
You're not the walking.
So I was like, it's not about finding something. After 3 months of training, I said, it's not about finding something. I will go with my friend. It's more expensive than that. Because we both have so much experience. If I'm going with somebody, I need to pay.
Sometimes you don't confident.
I might want to go for free, but me, it's a bit of a so like, okay, I don't want to sit down. So she didn't even come back. I don't know. Okay. That was so motivational. Things. I want to go to from house to the States. I have planned for a personal life. What's in the place? I need to relocate to other states, which I don't know. So, what's in the plan is because I'll get those and go as the process of what that that's the best. The farm must be close by. The nine says for steps I saw from give to them to cover. So the much now so inside that one and look at this. Same thing when you study the inside. Most of the time the goals. Rather just stay alive. What I'm doing is give money that I'm not doing myself. I say I'm not going to I know what to do. I will see my thoughts. I'm very sure. Yeah. That would be fun. You're prepared to introduce. Yes. Now, accommodation is not only provided 4 times. We keep using one. About that, we do resistance. There's it's not working. So today, you buy it. Now, you usually, what you use, confusing than the immune system. At the time, one of these people was 50K.
Yes.
I'm not making things now. And I'm buying it. See? Nice. Very, very nice. Of course, it's consistent.
Good morning. Oh, God, we do not trust.
Yes, you have a good rest of rest.
Is it?
You have a good rest of rest.
I think so. I think so. Okay, so let us proceed. So it's what we learned yesterday. If somebody asks you what branding is, what would you say?
For what you like to start.
Yes.
Branding has to do with perception, how you want to view. And also branding is also internal work because it has to start from the roots before it gets to before people say it. So you have to work on your identity. That means who you are.
Yes.
Because then who are your target audience to who and what is the problem they are trying to solve. So you have to consider those three things before you even think of starting a brand. And you start to take up a position, how you want people to see you, if your communication is understandable, if you can be identified without the brand face or without you being there, your form of communication, and do you stand out?
So we're supposed to look at the five pillars of investment. That's what we're looking at. Yes, sorry. So pillar one, what is pillar one? I think we were able to look at two this today. What was the first one?
Identity.
What's on that worksheet? What's the third one? Voice. You can brand voice. Yes. Brand voice. Brand voice. Have other phone companies. Their adverts, they're always doubling down on maybe their launch events. They're always doubling down on 50 megapixel camera, 60,000 mAh, this sensor, that sensor, that sensor. But if you check very well, most of the features coming into the iPhone have been there in other phones before now. They're just beginning to introduce a lot of things into the iPhone. But they make it look, the way they present it, it looks like it's something very unique that they are putting into the phone. But it's something that already existed. The button you use to take your pictures, the new button they added to the recent iPhones, that has been there right from Sony Ericsson. Yes, button Sony Ericsson. That particular feature has been there for ages. But when Apple brought it in, they did not just make it look like it's just one of those added features. So their brand voice is making you feel like they are giving you something very unique. They are selling you the experience of sophistication. If you check very well, the iPhone 11, how many years ago was that? iPhone 11 is quite an old phone. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But if you give somebody an iPhone 11 Pro Max, as long as the logo is showing, person will be like, will be happy that I'm using an iPhone. What the person bought is wonderful. Is that logo? That feeling of sophistication. That's why it's expensive. Then Samsung too is on the Android end playing that game. So it's not like what they're doing, are they good phones? Very excellent phones. I don't know of recent, but before now, all Sony, all this thing, iPhone, Sony cameras. But you will never see iPhone telling you it is a Sony 50 megapixel camera. But you see other Android devices telling you it's a Sony 50 megapixel camera. It is recently iPhone started making their own chip, their own processors for their laptop and their phones themselves and their iPad. Before now, it was Intel they were using for most of their stuff. The only place you see an Intel on a Mac is when you go to check computer specifications. You'll never see them putting it on their system. This is an Intel laptop. Or when you turn the back to read those very little writings that is only very people that really want value for their money like us that take our time to be checking all those things. For yes. Checking their time, we have to take our time to check all those things before we be like, okay, this is an Intel. But the moment they were able to get their own chip, you discover that M1, M2, M3, they're just putting it in the face of everybody because now they own it. And the reason they are even putting the M in the face of the people is because of the computing power. I'm telling you about the computing power of the chip, not even that, oh, this is. So you can see that the Apple, once you see a tech bro, once you buy an Apple and you just set your camera, that Apple logo is, in 2015 it was showing a lot of lights, now it's just the glossy feel. So the brand voice is basically you telling a compelling story for people to buy. But now it has to be the same across board, both internally in your business and how customers see and perceive it. So that's just in a nutshell what brand voice covers.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So now, I feel like when we're talking about consistency, the way I want to understand it is more than what you just post everywhere.
Okay.
So how do you maintain that consistency? Because you can put the same content here, put the same content here, and at the end of the day, I know it's not giving the same voice. So how do you maintain that consistency?
You mean consistency in your communication or just consistency in posting?
Communication.
So each marketing pattern has its way it works. based on the platform, it must fall within that frame. You understand? So the consistency is, although it needs to change shape and form, there is a core. It sticks to this particular frame. So brand voice, that's what this one's about. So the first question was, does every piece of brand communication sound like it comes from one source? That's why that frame is important. Then do you have a documented tone of voice standard? And is your content voice distinct enough to stand without your logo? Does how you speak match who you claim to be? So for the last question, does how you speak match who you claim to be? Is the situation of what I've been saying, that branding starts from within before you put out the game of perception. So that once people come close, so it's a situation of you're attracted, you see a fine boy, a fine girl, you're attracted to be like, this girl is fine. You go close to the person open mouth and you're like, God just lays beauty on top of this one body. Lord, maybe a guy or have all the abs and chest and everything. The girl is just tripping for you. The girl come close to discover that there is nothing upstairs. So it's a situation of that person has worked on his or her outer presentation and internally there's nothing to write home about. But then when it's a situation of you're handsome and beautiful and then you know your stuff to a very deep level, and someone comes close and is now engaging, you discover that the person is not, after being attracted, the person is now blown away by the fact that you have some level of knowledge in something and not anything else. So you guys will do that answering for your brand now. I'm kind of wanting us to run through this as fast as possible. You do that answering for your brand. 1 to 5. Those 4 questions. What's your answer? Then for visibility, we touched a lot about visibility yesterday. So, are you present where your ideal clients make their decision, which we talked about a lot? So, positioning and visibility, they work hand in hand. Does your visibility strategy reflect your positioning or just generate activity? Are you findable through search, referral, and recognition? Does your visibility communicate authority or just existence? So just to drive a little bit on this visibility angle. Remember while we were talking yesterday, the conversation got to the point we were talking about the real estate space and somebody in Abuja that his marketing is everywhere. And the question now is, after you finish spending millions on marketing and somebody is looking for some kind of property, you say you're the biggest, you're the best in the city, and you do not have those property under your name or under your control or access to them, or you do not even have the needed licenses to do certain things, carry out certain things in the city, maybe to do some development, and you getting approval getting approval, building approval and all that, you're the best, but it's taking you 6 months to get one building approval done because you've not built the relationship underground to ensure that as fast as possible building approval comes in. And people now begin to trust you to handle their development and not just buy land from you because they know that, oh, this guy, we can give him so hectares of land and he will get the building approval and it's a development company, we know how to run our stuff. So because of that understanding of the depth of the real estate space outside just you putting out marketing and telling people that you're the best, you see that investors will be more attracted to somebody that they understand, that they know have the ability to get over some of these bottlenecks that comes with the business easily without stress, than them working with somebody that is working on just fit and have not built the relationship to ensure that fit goes full circle. So that visibility to also answer. Then equity, brand equity. Does your brand have an independent reputation beyond your personal network? Does your client choose you before they've spoken to you? Can you command premium without explaining why? Do people refer you in a room you are not in? So let me explain that. Do your brand have an independent reputation beyond your personal network? So a lot of us doing business, we are not building with the right mindset from the beginning because of Nigeria. Nigeria is a very difficult space, let's be realistic. I'm very sure that only few of us started business with the mindset of scale. I did not start with the mindset of scale. I just wanted to survive school. I just wanted to at least see food to eat. That was why I went into the branding business. So it is after like 4 or 5 years, I was now beginning to study and see that, oh, I started with the wrong mindset. A lot of us, we do not enter business with the mindset of getting that business to the level where it can impact 10, 50, 70 million people. And is doing nothing less than $1 million, $2 million. A lot of us, we see $1 million as so much money. So we having that wrong mindset, it affects how we see our brand and how we do business. But having that mindset of skill from the beginning, if you check very well, it is only in Africa that you're always hearing small SME. And there are small businesses outside the country, yes. But many of those businesses started with the mindset of scaling. And it's with that mindset of scaling that will help you walk through building your equity to the point where people are coming to you not to price you. They are coming to you because they already know what you offer and they already know that you understand the value you carry. And you will now start building business not only you start building business not only with the mindset of let me survive, but you start building with the mindset of this thing can get to the point where I am the one in charge of the entire space of Africa. Using Dangote as an example again. He's currently trying to build another refinery in Kenya. So an interview I watched, he said that he has gone past the level of trying to make money for himself. Now he's building legacy. Because at 70, he has enough to retire. His children do not have to work, and they'll be alright for the rest of their life. But the man started with the mindset of skill, given the background he came out from. Came out from a wealthy, yes, they were wealthy then. And the ideology of business, him staying with his grandfather and all that, you discover that he had that mindset of skill from the beginning. So that's why you see he's just moving from one level, fluid enough to move from one level and scale as much as possible. His mindset for wanting to do that Kenya refinery is because this whole issue with Israel and Iran affected distribution, which impacted on how much he has maxed out how much he can produce and how much he can distribute, and he's not covering Africa. And he's also feeding some other countries. So he's considering having a separate refinery so that he'll be able to cover Africa both in good and bad times. So you can see how the man is thinking. He's no longer thinking of having 50% of his company in the game. Down to, let me use Tony as an example. The UBA we know did not start UBA. But up until now, I'm not sure he has more than 19% shares. But he's the owner of UBA. He's the highest shareholder. But $10 about to have majority share in First Bank. He just did something percent. So that mindset of skill now is putting them in a place where their name really does not need to be on anything they've built in the past or that they're building now. If the name Dangote is removed from all his businesses, those businesses will still try. Because they've been able to build equity. Equity meaning trust. Now people trust you to give you their money. People trust that, since this guy could handle this business for this organization, that means he can handle it for me. So you're just building it beyond your personal motor. Where if you have to go on vacation for 1 year, things can still happen. And equity is not something you just build in two years, not even 10 years. And most of the times, we start with the mindset of wanting to blow from the beginning of our business. Jumia is still not a profitable company today. Amazon took, I think, about 12 to 14 years before they got their first profit. Facebook, how many years? Almost around the same time, more than a decade before they became a profitable company. So you can see starting with the mindset of skill would make you structure things to the point because you understand that there may not be profit in this thing for a while, but I have to structure it in a way that everybody working has something to sustain their life, not survive. I don't like that word survivor. Sustain. So even down to the point of getting investors, the kind of people you talk to, how big your idea should be, the kind of partners you should have, the kind of business you should even be involved in. If you're taking on the mindset of the problem I'm solving and how can I scale it across board. You have the end in mind and then you start small and begin to grow towards it. So for that equity, let's have that answer. Sure. Any person have any question on equity?
Regarding business equity, at what point do you suggest one should start giving out equity?
Okay, that's another thing. This now on brand equity is talking about more of external trust, external and internal trust. External trust meaning people trusting you to give you premium. Premium meaning somebody contacting me and the person already knows that for me to do anything for you, you're already talking in millions. So the person already has it at the back of his mind. So over the years, I've built that equity, that trust that this guy cannot do anything to do this. And they know that them coming to me, they understand that he can deliver the job. That's why I'm coming to him. So building that trust, and also to the internal part of equity is your team trusting you to stay with you and stick with you through good and bad times. Because business is war, there will always be bad times. And a lot of times you will have, out of 10, 9 will be bad seasons. And that one good season might make it look like you've never gone through 9 bad seasons. That's how business is. And outsiders won't even care if 9 months ago you were drinking Gary and you could not pay your staffs. Because now they are seeing that, oh, this guy just hit one major contract, one investor just came. So that particular period, your staffs, your team, being able to stick with you through that period has to also do with the internal trust you've been able to build. You've been able to communicate the vision, the situation, and everything to them. And those that want to stay, those that want to leave. But, well, coming to your question of when a business is supposed to begin to give out equity, from the beginning, a business should be structured in that pattern. Even if you're not giving out equity to anybody. You as the owner, you're not even supposed to have 100% from the beginning. Even if you're not having a co-founder or anybody. You should have at least 50% that is just not given to anybody, not even yourself. At that point now, you're already building the mindset that I do not own everything. And when the time is right, you already have 50 stacked that's okay, this 50% we're giving it out. So now right from your, after your registration, your legal document is already stating that I as the owner am only allowed to have 50% of the equity in this business. The other 50% have not been given to anybody yet, but I do not have the right to have more than 50%, so something like that. Just you already building the mindset that this thing has the ability to scale. And for it to scale to the point, for some persons to come in for partnership, to bring in their skills, their expertise, for people to bring in their money, they want to own something. So you do not get comfortable with eating 100% of the profits. You now feel low and what so amount. Now time to give up. You have to now adjust your life to fit that 50%. And the reason I'm saying this is because most persons, maybe you have an investor dropping 100 million into your business. That 100 million, most persons, they are not, will not look at it like, oh, I've gotten into money. You've not gotten into money. It is not profit. It's an investment that should yield profit. So your lifestyle as the owner of the business is not supposed to change. At that point, you're supposed to even be more worried. You're supposed to be more serious because at that point, the time frame given before ROI begins to come in, I've already started counting. And you're buying car and buying new phone. So all those money is supposed to go into something that will directly improve the influx of revenue. So if it's, most of us came into business with the mindset of how to survive. Nigeria is hard, there's no job. So you coming there, you're already coming with survival mindset. And to do business on the global level, survival is not the mindset to work with it.
Integrity.
Integrity is also part of it. Many of us don't have integrity. So it's very sincere. Me, I have to start building my own. That's just the truth.
So you're trying to say you know
90% of us, the truth is 90% of us based on how we grow up, where we grow up. it's, I'm not sure, I don't know of you, but I'm not sure that 80% of families have a curriculum they teach their children when it comes to character traits and all that. How many of us did our parents teach us to sit us down to teach us about integrity, about communication, about life? When I mean life, not telling you don't do this, don't do that, but telling you the kind of challenges that could come up and how you should react to them, how you should act, not even react. How many of our parents taught us emotional management? How many of our parents taught us people management, especially those of us that are from large families? So now you see that all these things I'm calling are things that are character traits that are needed to actively run a business, which could be impacted from home. So how can you tell me your core value of your company is integrity when you don't know what integrity is and you've not lived it? I've never put all those things as core value. And yes, I'm creative, creativity can be there. But until that attitude, you built it, like yesterday we talked about who you are as a person, until you built it, you and your team, your leadership team have built it up to 70% at the minimum. You shouldn't be on your core values. Until each person in the leadership have those character traits in their life, they shouldn't be on your core values as a company, even if it's something you're aspiring towards now. Continuous improvement, if it's part of your core values, that means 90% of the time you're a forward-thinking company, your team is forward-thinking. You're looking at ways to make things better. Not when it's 10% of the time that you're looking at ways to improve, you're stuck in your ways as a team. And you're putting continuous, where is the improvements coming from? So that's the mindset I would like all of us to have. So let's, from your scores, let's look at, if you check that document, you have the score interpretation there. So for each of us, if you add all your scores from your branch, what did it come up to?
Yeah, all the questions supposed to be scored.
Yes, all of them are, not each of the question, each of the pillars. We're having identity. Identity are 4 questions. So those 4 questions is just to help you give a general score for.
Okay, rating of 5, because the position in the first question is just can you state in one sentence? So
Yeah.
if that is requiring, how do you score that to now have a general score? Or just
And you can score them, then do it, then take an average. Score each of them and take an average. freedom, it is hard. Why? Is it? You don't know what to score. You said? Okay. You're done with yours. If you add all of them, 18. That's solid. Very solid. That's also very good. It's you not liking numbers. Oh my God. 18. That's a well-developing brand. So for identity, what was it? 5.
So I'm just using one of my stuff as disclosed by as a case study, not everything.
Not everything.
Just one.
And that's a branch, don't put everything in one container.
So it's just that one. So for the brand identity, it's
Okay, what about position?
have a position is 3. The voice 4. Visibility 3. Equity 3.
That's good. That's a well-developed brand. Say yours is 9. So for identity, 2. Okay. For positioning,
2. Brand voice 1. Visibility 1. Equity 3.
okay, before others are done. So now can you, let me start with you. Okay. With your assessment, can you see where your brand needs to improve, to double down? Which of them?
For the equity, I feel that that is a bit beyond my own control. It's something that should happen with time.
Exactly.
For equity, for visibility, funding, we do that. So that's money.
Okay.
So for voice, that has to do with my copywriting and stuff like that. So that would be work. But positioning and those are other things that we work on with more strategy and things like that.
Well, it's identity, positioning, voice that brings in the money to drive visibility.
Yeah.
That will then improve equity.
Yes, I would just say the positioning is 3. Because we are pivoting, right? So our first version of what we did, we launched it January.
What was it?
It's close by.
Okay, close by. Okay.
So we launched January.
This year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we hit 10,000 users in 3 months.
Paid platform.
Huh?
Is it paid?
So the first initial one was a freemium version. So we pivoted it into premium one.
Okay.
And based on the feedback we got. So part of our first model was for people to pay based on time duration, and that you list your product for a certain period of time. So if you pay for timing, not necessarily pay for visibility. That was the initial idea. But on launching it, you place it as free just to get more feedback. On placing it up, the feedback we got, we have to do a model pivot basis. Then to now be okay. Your post can stay for or we restricted the premium to just a single post. Like on the platform, post one item, it's free for you, right? But those products are already posted. They don't get our priority visibility search. So people are searching from WhatsApp. If you are searching for your product, if you are a premium user, the first 3 items
the optimization.
you have searching on the product, we give more like a Google search ranking, we give you a higher ranking. So that gives you a higher chance for your product to be bought. Or if you are just a free user, your platform can list there, and somebody happens to search maybe above the three, they happen to see you, you get it, and that's fine. We're restricted to one item.
Okay. So quarter one, what was your the positioning is more of how many persons are on the platform now? Or your visibility, I mean to say. Positioning is more like you being in the face of the people that have stuff they want to sell.
Of course, a lot of people have been telling us there, but because we left it, we really, I personally wanted to get feedback, right? Because an idea I wanted to get feedback, so we have to leave it. After we hit 10,000 users, there have been a lot of people themselves requiring for a premium version. The people are selling the platform as it is, without it, they are now requesting for a premium version, wanting to sell their stuff fast. And things like that. So at that point, we have to now export the data from the database of the users, especially the prices they are listing them. But we don't take pricing. Our positioning is you can get a buyer close to you. That's what we're selling. That's the idea we're selling. That you could sell your item in your neighborhood within Smart AI. You can get somebody that's with a clutter item, a new item, close to your neighborhood. That's what we are. That's what our voice is communicating. So as we get that up, a lot of people are getting biased. I think our majority, I would say 60% of our users are from Lagos on the platform. So now I'm developing more strategy to see how to, because since we are saying users should be gotten from neighborhoods, somebody from Sokoto who comes on the platform is likely to get somebody that wants to sell a product here. Or except you have to now speak to them from Lagos and you guys now start arranging how it's going to be really. And our system doesn't capture that, which might lead to some kind of experiences. So the next strategy I'm working on is how to get influencers from those particular states or geopolitical regions that we scaled a lot with influencers. Yeah. So you usually UGC creators within those particular, so it works very, very well. So it's part of the strategy in which we were using. So we intend doing that within other regions so that we could capture properly almost all states, and it would really be sure some people, if you're not in Lagos or in Abuja, which have majority of our users, you could basically get a buyer or sell your items here much more faster. So that our brand promise can actually be.
You already have things that are more on the right track. You have things more on the right track. But outside using, not but and, outside using influencers based on location, you can also consider more targeted.
Yeah, that's also part of it. Yeah, more of targeted social. Yeah. The idea was initially conceptualized as a declutter platform.
Okay.
So we used items and before we got it to like, okay, well, we can post people who have new products and other stuff come out, because the idea was even a declutter platform, but the feedback of the people that were getting, people were getting their new products, people that own shops, were listing their shops on the platform. So it's like, okay, so this thing will go beyond this, we just show you. Pivoted to accommodate that. So as we're getting feedback, we are aligning what we're getting from the customers to see how we produce more.
That's good. But you see from our explanation yesterday, you see him giving details of what he's doing. You see how they had an idea, and the idea has already changed like 3 times already because of the customers, not you. You as the business owner, you're the most insignificant person in the business. You're completely insignificant.
Without them, you don't exist.
Because the idea can be unique and it's only you and your co-founder and your team members that will be using your platform. The platform is for people. So it is their problem you're solving. So you need to be fast enough to pivot to solve their problem. If not, becoming profitable will become very difficult. afternoon.
Welcome.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir. Okay, so here and there you having issues now. Where do you think the issue with your brand is now?
For my positioning, let me start from the beginning. So my identity, I feel like is not identical across all people. And my brand can also be mistaken for other brands because they don't
Okay,
have
your brand now, which one? Because you have,
yes, perfect.
that's what you want to focus on. Why are you focusing on only perfume? Why are you making only perfume?
No, I don't make a perfect.
Okay.
I make when you look at my product is just because
Just your
perfect,
product.
yours.
Okay.
So that's what I do. And the reason why I'm focusing on that is okay, because of only by doing it now, I don't want to do too much work with that. I won't be able to deliver the best.
Okay. So since you're the only one, what's your thoughts, your mindset around scaling?
So,
Or you just want it to always be a one-man business?
no, I don't want it to be a one-man business. I want to scale it. So I had to just change my mindset recently because the reason why I started my business first of all was for survival. But as I continue, I noticed that survival is not enough for you to stay in business. Because yesterday I made the point that sometimes you might have passion for something, but at the end of the day, you find out that what they are doing now starts to irritate you. Because
You're not making money from
Yeah,
it, so you said you're running out of
so you're not making money from it. So it just recently I started to change my mindset that it's no more for survival. I want to escape.
So what's you changing your mindset? What plan do you have on the surface?
I know who I am. So I have defined who I want my target audience to be. So what I need to work on now is reaching them, working on where I can actually meet them and where my communication will matter. I should not just be big because I've been big. I've just been doing everything, following trends, not focusing on one thing. So now I know that I need to focus on a particular thing and my communication pattern. What am I trying to pass across? When I talk to them, how do I want them to perceive me? So I'm doing a lot of internal work right now before and now like making external. So there's a lot of internal work going on. I'm also trying to change my mindset.
Which is very important. So which brand are you understudying?
Okay, I Melanie Pie, Pretty Life, then Thai Fresh, Shizzy, Ulado. So those are the people I look at.
Okay. Go ahead.
So my identity, I don't have a documented visual or verbal standard. Yeah, so my physical and digital identities, I don't have, it's not strong enough yet.
Have you started building?
Yes, but another thing is consistency.
How long have you
I've
been
been
in
in
business?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. Okay, and then positioning. I know my business. I know what I want to do, who I want to serve. Then my 3 clients, they can describe me identity. Then I could be confused with a competitor if my name like is not being there. Like my brand is not like distinct enough for you to say, oh, this is
You just started, so
yes,
it takes time.
yes.
Always have that in mind.
Then do you own a specific defensible market territory?
So, Melanie Pie, what is this thing about?
Okay, that makes them stand out.
Yes, what's your business? You said those are the people. So what's
Yes,
this?
Melody Fine, from what I'm, number one, she uses her content to attract people. The packaging, from what I've told you, the packaging are very, packaging of the coffee is very enticing just by looking at it. The arrangement of the content on it and the whole